What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So Jericho Swain, this is the League of Legends champion I'm going to be covering in today's video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with his champion teaser, then I'm going to move into reading his bio. After that I'm going to move on to his login screen, and then I'm going to actually after that finish off with his gameplay spotlight. Now I'm well aware there's a few other things to actually cover on this character. There's obviously also his story and his special interactions. I think his special interactions are about 18 minutes long, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to save them for a part 2, along with possibly maybe the actual spotlight for Swain as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to timestamp the whole thing, so obviously you know where the actual parts of the video you might want to get to are, if that makes sense. And yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into it.
I have the vision to see what others cannot.
Ooh,
the monsters of today will be the heroes of tomorrow. And by my hand will Noxus rise once more.
Ooh, okay. Wow, that is a short teaser, 22 seconds long, wow. But you can see how that nicely ties in with who I covered last week, which was Aurelia. When I read her bio, it tied in with his, and I'm sure when I read his next, it's going to be tying in with hers as well. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Right, Swain, the Noxian Grand General. So, born into a patrician family, probably wrong there, one of many to exist since the first walls were raised around Noxus, Jericho Swain seemed destined for life of privilege. The noble houses had played a key role in Borum Darkwill's rise to power, stoking rhetoric that their proud heritage was the nation's greatest strength. However, many hungered for greater influence, plotting against Darkwill in a secret cabal united by nothing more than the symbol of a black rose. Uncovering their intrigue, Swain personally executed the most prominent conspirators. Among them were his own parents, whose whispers of a pale woman had first alerted him of the dangers of Noxus, which he valued more than house or kin. Savage. They sought a power, a shapeless voice crackling in the darkness of an immortal bastion, something like a raven's caw. For exposing the cabal, Swain was granted a commission in the Noxian army, far from anything he had ever known. There he learned firsthand that the Empire was not strong because of Noxians, as he had believed, but because of the way it could unite all men in spite of their origins. On the front lines, a foreign slave could be the equal of a highborn, which is obviously what we see in Tales of Runeterra in, I forgot what it's called, episode 6 I'm going to call it. What's it called now? Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but it's the one where basically Darius comes in, he basically kills this king, doesn't he? And the girl sees the king's hypocrisy and she turns from fighting for the king to fighting for Darius. Pretty good video as well. But Swain still found only darkness in the wake of each battle. Clouds of Karen Crows. After securing the western borders, Swain's own reputation was secured in Shamira, where his forces raised countless Nox Torah above the desert sands. Yet in time it became clear that greed was the sole purpose driving the Empire forward. Fighting wars on too many fronts, lusting over magical relics, the aging Borum Darkwill was clearly growing unhinged. When Noxus invaded Ionia, Darkwill began to move even more brazenly, tasking entire warbands to scour the land for anything rumoured to extend a mortal lifespan. With Swain's forces depleted, it became nearly impossible to engage the enemy. Finally, at the Battle of the Placidium, after luring the local militia into what would have been a trap, Swain's warhorse was overrun. His veterans were routed and Swain was gravely wounded. His knee shattered, Ionian blades cleaving through his left arm. So obviously we know this from the account of the buyer from Aurelia, which we did last week. As he lay on the verge of death, a raven approached to feed, and Swain felt an old familiar darkness press upon him again. But he would not let it take him. He could not. Staring into the bird's eye, he saw reflections of the evil strangling the heart of Noxus, a black rose, the pale woman, and her puppet emperor. Swain realized that he had not defeated the hidden cabal, and they had betrayed him to what should have been his death, after seducing Darkwill, the man they failed to overthrow. All this was glimpsed, not in the mind of the Raven, but something more. The power his parents had been seeking, the demonic eyes blazing in the dark. Cast out of the military for his failure, considered nothing more than a cripple, Swain set about uncovering what truly lay within the immortal bastion, an ancient entity preying upon the dying and consuming their secrets, as it had attempted to consume his own. Swain stared into that darkness, seeing what even it could not, a way to wield it. Though his meticulous preparations took many years, Swain and his remaining allies seized control of Noxus in a single night. Physically restored by the demon, he crushed Darkwill in full view of his followers, leaving the throne shattered and empty. Swain's vision for the future of Noxus is one of strength through unity. He has pulled back the warhorse from Darkwill's unwinnable campaigns and, with the establishment of a Trifarix, ensured that no individual can rule unopposed. He embraces any who will pledge themselves to the Empire, even the Black Rose, though he knows in secret they will plot against him. Gathering knowledge as the demon did before him, Swain has foreseen far greater dangers lurking just beyond. However, many Noxians secretly wonder if the darkness they face will pale in comparison to the dark things Swain has done. The sacrifices are only beginning for the good of Noxus, which is obviously what he mentioned in his teaser trailer. So what's interesting here as well is that after the actual war, he was left as a cripple, wasn't he? Cast out of the military as for his failure, considered nothing more than a cripple. Then it mentions that he was restored, his power was restored by a demon, so maybe we're going to get a little bit more information on that in the actual story. But no, that was good to see a little bit more about this character Jericho Swain and how it nicely ties in with the events that happened in Aurelia's story, or Aurelia's bio as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through his login theme and then I'm going to get into his spotlight. So let's get into his login theme. Ooh, okay. Okay. Right, okay, so random, but do you know what? So far, this really reminds me of Star Wars. Like, the theme is like Darth Vader-ish. This is like a perfect theme for them. Just me personally, but that's the vibes I'm getting from it so far. Also, I'm loving the animation on his hand. And check out the, not Raven, the crow with the 3, technically 6 eyes. Wow. Giving me some kind of like a Game of Thrones vibe. Star Wars. Ooh, a bit of a fade. Here we go. Ooh, a little bit scary. A bit of a Fiddlesticks vibe. Build it up. Build it up. Nice. I like that. Wow. Okay, that was really good. That was really good. So, let me recap on this one actually. Really give me kind of like Star Wars, kind of like Darth Vader, Sith vibes. But also, I love how they had the contrast. You had your first section, and then it slowed down for this kind of like almost like a slower tempo, scarier vibes. I think you might have mentioned it sounds like a little bit like Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks. So that would have been like a perfect Fiddlesticks kind of sounding vibe. And then it gives you time to take a bit of a breather, and then boom, back to the same type of style for the first minute, minute and a half, but up tempo. A little bit more tempo to it. So I like how it breaks out this 3-minute video into like 3 separate 1-minute videos, if that makes sense. I didn't like it. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully when I watch this back, that makes some sense. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end with the actual gameplay spotlight as well. So let's get into that one.
We are all of us born into a lie. That there are those who are good and those who are evil. But these words mean nothing. In truth, the only measure of a soul is the strength of their will.
Welcome to the Swain Champion Spotlight.
Bit of a strange way of looking at the world, but okay. Okay.
Swain's passive, Ravenous Flock, has 2 components. First, enemy champions leave behind soul fragments when they die. Shadowy ravens scavenge nearby soul fragments, healing Swain. He can also store a bunch of soul fragments, and we'll go over what that means a little bit later. Now let's talk about Ravenous Flock's second effect. Right-clicking any nearby immobilized enemy champion damages them, drags them towards Swain, and rips out a soul fragment. The drag has a moderate cooldown, so you'll have to choose the best victim when following up on area of effect lockdowns. Swain's Q, Death's Hand, unleashes several bolts of Eldritch power in front of him, each damaging the first target struck. Multiple hits on the same target deal reduced damage beyond the first. Bolts pierce through targets they kill, restoring a portion of Swain's mana and hitting the next unit in their path. Take advantage of this in lane to shock your opponent through their low health minions, or refresh your mana pool wave clearing. Swain's W, Vision of Empire, opens a demonic eye at a target location, damaging and slowing all enemies in the area after a moderate delay. Champions hit by Vision of Empire take extra damage, grant Swain a soul fragment, and are temporarily revealed. Vision of Empire's range is freaking massive. It gives tons of versatility as a zoning, reconnaissance, and follow-up tool. It's up to you as a master tactician to figure out the best way to use it. It's typically not wave clear. Swain's E, Never Move, projects his demonic hand forward, then calls it back, damaging everything it touches. Never Move passes through enemies on the way out, but explodes if it hits something as it's returning. Targets caught in the explosion are rooted in addition to damage. Never Move explodes if it hits any enemy on the way back, not just enemy champions. Keep an eye on what's behind your target, or you could end up rooting a minion or monster by mistake. Feels bad, Bird Dad. Watch for opportunities to follow up on Never Move with your other abilities. Pull your opponent in with Ravenous Flock's right click, then drop a 5-finger Death's Hand for tons of damage. Once you've got a grasp on Swain's kit, eyeball an opportunity to add Vision of Empire into the mix. Swain's ultimate, Demonic Ascension, invokes his full power, granting a big chunk of health on cast and draining life from the nearest enemies for an extended duration, prioritizing champions. When Demonic Ascension ends, either by running down the duration or by reactivating after draining enough health, Swain casts Demon Flare, the payoff for collecting all those soul fragments. Swain crushes every fragment in his possession to unleash a nova of demonic energy, damaging the closest enemies around him. The nova's damage increases for each fragment consumed. Demon Flare is Swain's make or break moment in team fights. Flash bombing the opposing backline is a play for the highlight reels when Swain does quick maths. But if you don't know 2 + 2 is 4, miscalculations will leave him stranded in the middle of a very angry enemy team with no access to his survival tools. Let's sum it up with a late-game team fight to strike fear into the foes of Noxus. Swain catches Ezreal and Braum with a well-aimed Never Move, then pulls Ez in with a Ravenous Flock. Ezreal tries to flash to safety but is winged by the far edge of Demon Flare. A few more pecks murder Braum, bringing the team fight to a tidy conclusion. Thanks for watching the Swain Champion Spotlight. Click these links for more intel on the Noxian Grand General.
Cool skins. Nice. So very similar to Irelia last week, I mentioned that I'll be going through her skins in part 2. I will definitely be doing the same in part 2 for Swain as well. So yeah, I think I'll leave it here today, guys, in this one. Hopefully you enjoyed actually the format of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the actual bio, the teaser trailer, the spotlight, and also his theme. Really good theme as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and if you did, feel free to let me know. Feel free to like, comment, and maybe also subscribe for more content like this. I cover a champion every single Thursday. I will be covering Mordekaiser, I think that's how you pronounce it, Mordekaiser next Thursday, and also, like I mentioned, I will be covering a part 2 on Swain at some point as well. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here today, guys, on this one. I will see you in the next one.